Back then, FAD was very strongly involved with sports: basketball, bowling, volleyball, and softball.
I was heavily involved in sports. I played softball, volleyball, bowling. I was a pretty good player, I think.
I remember growing up, we had outdoor beach volleyball here, and we were involved in softball and CAAD and GLDB, basketball, volleyball.
I could not play any sports at home because I had to come home and take care of my siblings, so I couldn't participate in any sports. While I was here, I had the opportunity to play. My husband was very good about it. He told me to go and play, and he played softball, bowling, and volleyball too. And the kids had friends around, and it was an awesome feeling. Volleyball is my favorite sport.
I loved volleyball. There was only one time that we had a big event, CAAD volleyball here, and it was really big, but they don't have those events as big as they do anymore.
Back then, FAD was very strongly involved with sports: basketball, bowling, volleyball, and softball.
Now I'm too old. I don't play anymore. I miss it. Playing sports was the key to feeling good, absolutely.
My first memory of FAD, well, I guess I must have been a little kid. Maybe a picnic at Potter Lake. I remember my parents took me there to play softball. It has a lake, and my parents warned me, do not go near the lake. Well, I didn't listen very well. So I jumped in the lake, and I got soaked. My parents gave me such a look.
When I first moved here, it was a whole new world. I was like, look at all of the signing. I missed nothing.
When I first got married and moved to Flint, I didn't really know anybody. I grew up in Detroit. FAD was my first experience of meeting Flint people.
At the time, it was unbelievable. There were 300 members here. I couldn't understand them at all either, because at the time I did not know sign language. I had to learn it.
Yes, I host a lot of the kids' Christmas parties. And then I went to those parties myself as a kid. And as I became older, I started hosting a lot of the events, like the kids' Christmas party and Halloween parties.
My best memory was the Christmas parties for the children. I remember going shopping for the party, and I was on the committee for many years for the kids. I remember that we had to host and buy the gifts for about 50 children, and we had to make sure that it was age appropriate. If it wasn't, we had to take it back.
We had 9 of that age. There was only 8. Shoot, we had to put it back and search to find all of the gifts. We had to wrap it up and then hand them out to all the children.
Oh, it was always really enjoyable to do that. It is a lot of work, of course, but it's always enjoyable to watch the kids and watch their excitement. It's nice.
It was one of those fun times with the committee to get together, enjoy hosting, giving out the Christmas gifts, and seeing the deaf Santa Claus walk around.
One year, my husband was Santa Claus, and my daughter looked at him and went, "Dad?" We're like, "Oh, no."
We didn't want her to lose that belief in Santa Claus, so we somehow managed to fool her. I remember he had to borrow somebody's shoes.
That was a good memory. I really enjoyed it.
Our children now still talk about good times at FAD.
Now that my kids are older, I remember I came here about 2 or 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, the kids were awful. I had no patience for that, so I went home and I told my son, those kids are wild today. And my son said, no, we used to do that too. He said that it was fun, and I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't paying attention to my kids back then.
When I was young, some of my memories are, I would remember coming to FAD and my parents didn't see everything that I was doing, even if I was doing bad things. But other parents would catch me and yell at me, and I would say that I was innocent and I didn't do anything, but I knew that I had 2 or 3 other sets of parents, looking out for each other. So if I wanted to do something, I had to make sure other parents weren't watching me or didn't see what I did. So I always knew that this was my second home. I had more than one set of parents here. my parents and other parents, they really worked together.
Back then, General Motors used to have a lot of deaf employees. Michigan School for the Deaf had a lot of deaf employees working there as well. And I worked for Michigan School for the Deaf for 25 years. Most of the people that I worked with came here to FAD for the social. General Motors did the same, and we would all socialize. Now that technology plays a role, it's easier to stay home. Here was the place where we would share the news, what's going on, or I can't wait to tell you that I'm having a baby. Those kinds of news you would get here. People got them first at FAD. Now it's texting. It's all text messages. I'm going to have a baby. All that news sharing isn't there. I can't say that it's wrong, but I think that is what is killing the numbers of members.
I think it was about 250 or 300 or maybe a little bit more, because it seems that we had so many members. As you know, we're getting older and people are passing away, and we're not being replaced by the younger people. So that's why our numbers are dwindling. The way we value FAD back then is not the same as it is now.
FAD will continue in the future. I can't see it closing anytime soon. For that much time and money and effort that we've put into this building, that is supposed to stay. It's supposed to stay. Yes, the numbers are declining. Maybe we will grow again. Who knows? I can't speak for what's happening next month or next year. I'm sure it will expand. Lately, it's been pretty good. Some members have passed away, and new members have joined. 150 is just all right with me.
If a FAD closes down, I don't know where our friends would get together. It would be so hard. I'm sure we would, but this is like our second home. It's an easy place to meet. This is where we're always coming to FAD. If this closed down, I can't imagine another club or another place would have the same kind of history, the same kind of relationship that we have to this place. It would just feel so different. If it closed, I don't know. I would face losing my friends, face having this connection with the older adults in my community who tell us our history, tell us stories from the old times. If we didn't have this place, I would never, hear all of those stories. This is where we come to get our deaf history, our culture history. And every time I come here, I hear a new story from an older FAD member who's telling me something that happened a long time ago, and it's amazing. I had never heard those things or seen those things before.
I am really concerned because I feel that this club has a lot to give to our deaf community. Like I said before, a place to come, a place to socialize. I'm concerned that the numbers are getting smaller. Can we afford to keep this building? Can we afford to make the payment for electricity and things like that? We're getting older, so we need young people to join and come to keep FAD going for generations.
Yeah, there's not enough members. And I wouldn't be surprised if it closed later. I hope it doesn't happen, but maybe.